I've got the sporting keg. Jason, you're going to join me?
What's up, brother?
Hey, how excited am I for the NFL, by the way? Honestly, you don't realise how much you've missed it until that first ball gets kicked.
I know. It's amazing. It feels like 5 years when you have to wait those 6 months, but it's finally here, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Okay, before we go into like sort of different selections, and I'll have some as well, and I'll have some views. Any futures, any sort of further down the road where you feel as if the value's now?
Well, the team that I loved the most was the Indianapolis Colts. And Andrew Luck decides to retire at 30 years old. And I was sitting on the Colts at 19-1 to win the Super Bowl. I was sitting on them at plus 160 to win the division and go over their 9.5 season win total. So that's out the window now. The team that I like the most in the NFC going into the year is probably the Philadelphia Eagles. I like them. I like them a lot. And I think there's value in taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to win their division because the hype around the Cleveland Browns is insane.
But what about the Ravens? What about the Ravens? They're 4 to win their division. They're 16 to win the conference and 34 to win the Super Bowl. Surely the Ravens, I've got Steelers coming bottom.
Yeah, I like the Ravens defense. I think it's phenomenal. And the Ravens season entirely hinges on Lamar Jackson. He was able to run the ball at will, right? He got touchdowns. He got first downs and touchdowns on his feet. But now the defenses around the league, they've seen him for 10 games.
Yeah.
So they're going to make him beat them through the air. And it's just a question of, is he an accurate enough thrower to be able to make the plays to win football games? Because they're going to make him throw the ball. But I agree with you. Pittsburgh to win the division at plus 170 is a steal.
But that means you're going to go against the Ravens at like plus 300.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are capable of winning their division. But Pittsburgh, I don't think they're going to miss Le'Veon Bell and Brown that much. I think Connor and Schuster will fill the role. Big Ben threw for almost 5,000 yards last year. The defense is good enough. I think anybody in that division, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, are all capable of winning the division. If everything goes right for Cleveland, could they win 10 games? I guess. I have to see them go 500 first before I say they're going to win 10 games, but it's possible. And Baltimore and Pittsburgh are both capable of winning the division.
What did you think of it?
It's a tough call.
Jace, let's just rewind 24 hours. What did you think of last night's showdown between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers?
What surprised me the most in that game was Green Bay's defense. Last year, their secondary was horrible, and they looked really solid as a unit last night. I don't like Mitch Trubisky. I picked the Bears to regress. I picked them under 9.5 wins. I'm not a fan of them, and he looked terrible.
He wants all day.
He looked terrible.
He
looked terrible.
He wants all day. He wants a written invitation. He looks like he's like a cat in the headlights. But on the other side of the ball, you look at Chicago D, and the pace of them is scary. And they're the only ones that are going to actually keep them in low-scoring games. The other thing I noticed with Green Bay, and he was very cute, Aaron Rodgers, was that they're so quick, they're so fast, the Chicago defence, that they just went after stopping the run. And the amount of times that Rodgers rolled out, I think that other teams are going to try and do that. They're going to fake the run, roll out, and hit that secondary, because that secondary is nowhere near on par with that front line.
Flash, the Chicago Bears defense is special. Like, they're not just a good defense. They remind me, this team is an exact replica of the 2009-2010 New York Jets. They went to back-to-back AFC championships because of their defense. The quarterback was not good, just like I don't believe Trubisky is good, and the defense carried the day. That's why they won 12 games last year, and I just don't see them doing it again this year. And the coach, I mean, they drafted a kid in David Montgomery who was phenomenal at Iowa State, an incredible running back. The kid got less than 10 touches.
Yeah.
He should be their starting quarterback. I like Matt Nagy, but I was not impressed with him last night as a coach at all. But my number one takeaway from the game is the Green Bay Packers defense has improved.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And we were happy to have Green Bay at money line, and we was happy to go 46.5 unders after 2 possessions of the game. Okay, let's crack on. Let's put some meat on the bone. Let's start the Jags against the Chiefs. I've got to play on this. I'll wait for yours.
Well, I think Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent, but he's not going to throw for 50 touchdowns every year, okay? That's why every sports book in the United States set his touchdown total at 36. So we're going to see some regression on Patrick Mahomes only because he had one of the best seasons that a quarterback has ever had in the history of the NFL. And he was a rookie, right? They lose a huge piece in Kareem Hunt, who was a top 5 running back. Their defense improved slightly in free agency. So I think it's going to take the sports books a few weeks to adjust the totals in the Chiefs games. That's why I took the under in the first total of the year. 52 points is a lot of points for a total in week 1. Add the fact that they're playing a Jacksonville Jaguar team that's projected to be number 1 in DVOA in the league this year. For people that don't know that, it's a defensive analytics stat. It stands for defense adjusted value over average. Long story short, they're projected to be the number 1 defense in football over the Chicago Bears.
They're going to need, but they're going to need to be with that offense.
Yeah. Go ahead. What?
They're going to need to be with that offense in front of them.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, Kansas City's offense is incredible. But the Jaguars' offense has improved, right? They let go of Blake Bortles. They pick up Nick Foles from Philadelphia. But what Nick Foles did on the Eagles, even though it was spectacular, the 2 things he doesn't have is that Eagles offensive line and Doug Peterson as a coach. The majority of that success was Peterson's system more than Nick Foles' skills. Add in the fact that it's going to be 100 degrees at kickoff. The game screams under to me, Flash. So I took under 52.
So, I mean, listen, the line's still there at 51.5 anyway, or 51.5. I've already played on this. I've gone Kansas City -3.5, and that's two ways. Mahomes is the real deal. I think that he's a broken play quarterback, that you're just in as much danger if you get him out of the pocket as he is when he's in it. And it goes against a Jags offense of putting more points on the board. I think Kansas City -3.5 is a massive value play in week 1. But I can definitely see 51.5 under being the right play, because with 51 points, you need both sides to contribute high on the scoreboard.
Right.
I don't see that with the Jags. And the other thing is with Kansas, I think they might get themselves in front, and then the clock will beat the Jags to death, and they'll just run the ball. So for me, I'm with you all the way. Kansas -3.5 and total points 51.5 under. Let's go to the unluckiest side last year, New Orleans Saints. -7 against the Houston Texans, +7, 1.9 each. Where's your play?
I mean, last season the Saints were 1 play away, 1 bad call away from making the Super Bowl, right?
Rule changing,
They're still
Jace.
a solid squad. They have the majority of their... What? What's that?
It was rule changing because of what happened last year. They've now given the coaches the opportunity to obviously challenge pass interference. I mean, it was that big of calamity that now they've had to go to the rule book and give the coaches a chance.
Yeah, I completely agree. They should have been in the Super Bowl. That they have the majority of their starters returning. As the season progresses, though, they become a stronger team. The reason I say that is because the New Orleans Saints are notorious slow starters. Last season, they started 10-1, okay? But that's not the norm for Sean Payton and Drew Brees. That's the exception to the rule. 4 out of the last 5 years, they've started no better than 2-2 through the first 4 games. 3 of those years, they started 1-3. Those 3 out of those 5 years. They opened the 2019 season with a tough game against a Houston Texans team that won 9 in a row last year. They made the playoffs. They finally have their franchise quarterback healthy in Deshaun Watson. And one of the best football analytic algorithms has them projected to have the 3rd best defense in the league this year. So this screams letdown spot for me in week 1. I could be wrong. The Saints could be locked in from the start of the year. But based on how Sean Payton and Drew Brees have started seasons the last 6 years, you're going to lay a touchdown? I just don't see it. I took Houston plus the 7 points.
Wow. I mean, you're thinking about one of the hungriest teams to right the wrongs of last year at home. Yeah, it's a tough spot, but obviously you've got the value. And I am with you, though, because I always like the Dogs in week 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 getting a touchdown at the very, very least. So you've gone with the Texans. What about this one then? America's all-star team, Dallas Cowboys, -7.5 against the New York Giants, getting 7.5. Total points, 45.5. Where's your play, Jace?
Well, what I like to do early, Flash, in the first, second, third week, I like to bet teasers, right? We call them teasers in the United States, but they're really like alternative spread accumulators for Europe, right?
Yeah.
So 7 points is a fair line for the Dallas Cowboys. They are 4 levels above the New York Giants, okay? The
Do they put
only
enough
reason
points on
I
the board,
didn't,
though, Jace? Do they put enough points on the board?
Oh yeah, especially against this Giants defense. Oh yeah, the Giants defense. The only player they had last year was Landon Collins, and he's gone. He's on Washington now. They have a good enough quarterback in Dak Prescott. They have one of the best running backs in the league in Ezekiel Elliott.
Will he be ready?
They picked up.
Will he be ready, though?
Oh, yeah. They said he'll get between 20 and 25 touches, I read.
He's had no pre-season, though, has he?
No, he has not played at all, no.
So is he fresh, or will he tire? Will fatigue kick in early? It's going to be interesting to watch how that story develops. Because if he runs for 2025, then they could put any number on the board.
Well, he just signed the biggest contract in the history for running back, so he better be able to run, okay? They picked up a great wide receiver mid-season last year, and Amari Cooper. I think, and their defense is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm happy with
they have the best. They have the best offensive line in football, Flash. The Giants have nothing except Saquon Barkley, their running back. I think they'll cover the 7.5, right? But what I bet was I teased them from 7-1, and I threw the Baltimore Ravens in there to kill Miami. Miami is the last team in my power rankings. They're the worst team in football, in my opinion. So I parlayed Dallas and the Baltimore Ravens and teased them down from 6-1. That's what I did. And it'll pay out 2.0.
Yeah, love that. Love that. I mean, I've got double with Oregon and Auburn under, parlay, sorry, with Baltimore -5, which I'm obviously very happy with. I'm going to go probably in with Baltimore again. I just see them giving up. I'll be happy 7, 8, 9. I'm going to have them in play as well. I mean, I just think that I'm going to beat up on Miami as often as I possibly can. And the other thing is with Miami, I hope they go up in some games and the books are just thinking this is their day, and then I'll steam and beat them up again because I'm not having Miami.
Exactly. You're going to want to do that, Flash, against Miami, the Redskins, the Raiders, and
I don't like the Titans.
Cardinals.
I don't like the Titans neither.
Neither did I. I wrote an article under 8.5 wins.
Yeah.
I don't like the Titans at all.
Go Cash. Go Cash. They haven't got 8.5 wins in them. They're jack of all, master of none. They pretend to be a team for me.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Well, let's move on to two potentially good side. One could be anything, and one is definitely on the up. We're going to go Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton, does he do it? Is he fit? Who knows? Against the LA Rams, who were last year's surprise package, putting up 30, 40, 50 points per week. Where's your angle here, Jace?
Another alternative spread accumulator. Okay, I always take home teams that are +2.5. I'll tease them right through 7 up to 8.5, right? Because it's 6 points that you move the line. So I think the play is you either lay the 2.5 with the Rams or you tease the Panthers with a team like Baltimore or a team like Dallas. That's exactly what I did. I teased them up to +8.5, and I did the same thing with Dallas from -7 to -1. They're an average team, Flash. I think I have them like number 17 in my power ratings. There's nothing special about them. I don't really like anything about the Panthers at all. What concerns me about the Rams, though, is I don't know what happens to them if Todd Gurley is not healthy at running back. They have the best defensive player in football, okay? Aaron Donald is a monster. Best in the world at his position, okay? They do get Cooper Kupp back. That slot receiver was huge for Jared Goff last year. He went down with an injury. He misses half the year, and the offense was never the same. So in the Panthers game, you either leave it alone or you tease them up to 8.5. If you're looking to bet the Rams, if you want to lay the 2.5, I guess you could. You know what I mean?
Jay,
but I think the game might be competitive.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a competitive game, but the one line that screams at me is the unders. It's at 50. And then we're talking about two teams that need to put big figures on the board. To get to 50, we're going to need, like, I don't know, a 31-20 or a 28. Unders. 50 with these two sides. I think that Cam Newton's not ready yet. I mean,
I don't hate that at all. I don't hate that at all.
He bowed out.
Because 28-21, you're still under the number.
Exactly. I mean, I just think it screams Carolina Panthers, LA Rams, under 50. Under. And I'd expect it to, maybe they'll move it to 49, maybe 48.5 come Sunday. So for me, that was just a scream of being under. I think I got under 51 or under 50.5 or 50.5.
I like that. Your only concern in that game is you don't want to see the Rams score 35.
No,
you know what I mean?
But even so, if I see the Rams score 35, I'm saying, are the Panthers going to put on 17? I just don't know about the Panthers. I just don't trust that they've got what it takes. And also, I think with the Rams and a lot of these sides, especially away from home, it's all about the W. It's all about getting in front and then killing that clock and making sure that the opposition haven't got a time. And I always say it's like a boa constrictor. You squeeze them, and that's what the problem that people have when they go to Foxborough this year. with go and face New England is that it's not Belichick, it's not Brady, it's not the running backs. It'll be the clock. They'll get in front and they'll force you into mistakes because you're not going to have long enough to get back into the game. Right, let's go to the one we've touched on. Miami Dolphins, 6.5, giving up 6.5 against Baltimore Ravens, 6.5. 1.86 Baltimore, Miami Dolphins, 1.95. And the total is 39.5. Jace, is it just straight Baltimore win?
Yes. Yeah, it is. If anything under a touchdown, I think is an automatic play on the Baltimore Ravens. Flash, Miami is not good, man.
No,
I mean,
I know.
they have Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback. He's one of the most inconsistent guys. He'll throw 3 touchdowns one game, 5 interceptions the next game. They traded and picked up Arizona's rookie from last year, Josh Rosen, but he's not ready to play. That's why they're starting Fitzpatrick. Miami's defense doesn't impress me at all. I mean, but the Baltimore, if Lamar Jackson could throw this football accurately, the Baltimore Ravens are the real deal. It all comes down to that kid. Can he throw the ball accurate and make the defense honest?
Yeah, Jace,
if he can.
Jace, I just want to interrupt you there because it's the Baltimore Ravens spots and their numbers that really go against everything I was always taught. Because I was always taught don't go anywhere near futures in August and September because injuries and like basically you wait till December, you give up maybe a 2-3 points, and then you can go in if they're still in good shape come December. But the numbers are so big with this Baltimore Ravens side that at 4 to win a division, at 16 to win the AFC, and 34 to get to the Super Bowl. Now, if he does the business, Jackson, they're going to be potentially half them odds on all 3 of their markets come December. So anybody wants to have a little play on Baltimore. Listen, I'm a massive New England Patriots fan, but in my division, in my conference, I see Baltimore screaming value.
I think those are very good odds to win the AFC because the Colts are out of it now, right? Yeah. So who do you got in the AFC?
Well, I've got it down to 3.
You got what's that?
I've got it down to obviously New England because they're New England.
Of course.
Kansas, who may not be as dominant, but in numbers, but I still think that they're on the upgrade.
And then who's your third team? The Chargers?
No, my third team's Baltimore. Kansas, Baltimore, New England.
I think it's those 5 teams.
Oh, you're throwing the Steelers
Kansas City, New England, the Chargers, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, okay.
It's one of those teams now that the Colts are out of it, right?
Yeah.
So at those odds, the risk is worth the reward because if that kid takes a legitimate step forward in his sophomore year, you are live to win the AFC.
Yeah, 100%. And then you can hedge. Because, I mean, if they get to the AFC Championship game, you're looking at having 16 to 1 shot one side. And unless they play against New England, I mean, you're just going to have a free run. And you could always... there's so much value.
If they win their division, that 16 to 1 is going to be 8 to 1.
And you remember, without a doubt, but you'd already cashed. You'd already cashed plus 300 because they're plus 300 to win that division in the first place. I'm just saying if they get on a roll, and listen, after week 4 or 5, they could be halved in price, especially if Jackson's on the move. Now, here's one I can see over your shoulder. Here's one that I was probably one of my favourite plays. You've probably left it alone because of your heart. But I've gone New York Jets, -3 at home to Buffalo, +3, both at 190, 1.9, -110. I just think the Jets put up, shut up. I think that they'll deliver a winning season and come second and maybe have a wild card chance in the AFC East.
You know, Flash, I'm so beaten down. Like you say, you love the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
I see Tom Brady in my nightmares, bro. Okay.
Well, of course.
I mean, you know, I can't. I don't know. I don't know. I want to say the Jets are a better side than the Bills. Okay. But it's a toss-up. You want to know what I think the play is in that game? The under. I don't understand why that total went from 38.5 to right now it is 40.5. You know, this is a field goal fest.
Yeah.
Both these teams are gonna move the ball between the 20s, and they have no red zone offense, okay? Maybe because the Jets picked up Le'Veon Bell, maybe they'll get in more than I think they will. But to me, I see them moving the ball up and down the field and kicking field goals. I do not understand why the public is on the over in this game. I don't see it. I think it goes under 40.5.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope it doesn't. I just hope that the Jets put a smile on their fans' faces. I said yesterday I was lucky enough to.
Right.
Well, I was lucky enough to go on Jimmy the Bag show yesterday, and we talked NFL, and I just said, forget about everything that's gone in the closet for the Jets. Just forget about it. They are the number 2 in their 4-man division. Okay, but that's just because they've got a freak above them. But they've now put money where they've tried to put the past behind them. You can only do that by going and winning your first game at home. Soft spot for me against Buffalo. Can't have Buffalo on my mind.
I agree. Very winnable.
Oh, yeah. Buffalo in December, minus 15, minus 20. Then we'll maybe see them get a few W's. But until then, I'm going to probably steer clear or fade them. Jace, I think we should make this a regular spot every Friday. What do you reckon?
Flash, I love how much you know about American football. Now you're making me feel like I got to go learn about soccer now.
No, there's no need. But the thing is, remember, football, American football, whoever wins the Super Bowl, you call them the world champions.
Yes.
So if you call them the world champions, that must mean that everyone in the world knows about it.
That's true.
Well,
I'll do this with you every Friday. No problem, my friend.
That's it. We'll fit it in. No problem. Jace, you take care. May all your bets be big ones. And I tell you what, let's beat up on Miami.
Oh, yes.
Okay, Jace. Thanks, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
You got it.